Salutations, my fellow dandies. Today we are playing Citizen Sleeper. I'll be fully upfront on this. This game's reviewed really well, and it looks like a really fun game. I'm kind of 50-50 on whether it's actually going to be any good for a stream game. So this will be almost definitely a one-off, I think. It might even be a short stream, but it could work. It's got a lot of like randomized tabletop RPG elements, which is the bit that I think might be quite fun to stream. But it's also a lot of dialogue, and I don't think there's voice acting. There might be. So it might be a lot of me reading stuff, which is why I'm like 50-50. But salutations, Stone. Good to see you. Hope you are fine and dandy this evening. Yeah, I mean, there's only one way to find out whether this is going to be any good or not, so let's crack on. Oh yeah, I think they've got some, like, DLC episodes out. But I think you have to do the main game at least once to kind of understand them, so we'll do a normal one. You finished God of War 2018 for the 30th time. I mean, you've got a PS5 now, don't you? It's time to move. Sure, it's time to move on to God of War 2022. A game I also need to finish. I've still only put about 2 hours into God of War. Okay, so I can start as an operator. 0 engineer skills. +1 in interface. -1 in strength of will. Oh, strength or strength of will. Okay. Oh, I should read the description. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. That does not sound like me. Extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Oh, this is me. Oh, no, I can't go left. I can be a machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. I don't think I'm diligent. I think probably this one, they're just the confident and self-sufficient. That sounds... Well, it's got a point in strength. I mean, they're all... I mean, it's only really like you get a +1 in one area. So do I want digital interfaces, machines, or do I want to punch stuff? I want to punch stuff. Let's start an extractor. New one is 70. You can shop around. You can get it for less than 70. I got it for like 62 launch week. Ooh, okay. Maybe this is a game where I'm going to have to go to the left of the screen. Let's put myself over here for the time being, see how this works out. It might not, because I have a feeling characters are on the left. It might just be that I'm going to be in the way regardless of where I go. The first thing you become aware of, waking... But, it's not off to a great start if I'm already misreading the first sentence. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it feels like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. So, yeah, I think the premise of this game is that I have, like, had my consciousness transferred to a robot body. Let's think about my body. My body's pretty good. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day. The sting of blood welling from a flesh wound. From a flesh wound. Yes. The friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. Salutations, Briar. Imagine being a person in this economy. Right? It's so much cheaper to be a robot. All you have to pay for is petrol. Oh, no. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard, at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. That must be distracting. Petrol, my power cells run on pure unadulterated spite. Ah, a renewable resource. Very eco-friendly. That's very forward-thinking. Remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day, until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft. Others... We've all been there. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might free solid long before you reach your any destination. Let's try and have a nap. It does... Typical Monday, yeah, it does feel like this a lot of days. I've had a lot of jobs where I've woken up on a Monday feeling like, I'd happily run out into the cold and get just anything else. Like, can a meteorite hit? Can my car explode? Just something to give me a day off work. You try to rest, but you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are duly aware of the damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. So you press the button once, but you don't hold it down so that it beeps, because that'll turn you off, and that kills you. So you just press it the once, so it beeps the one time, and you go to rest. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere. Screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its senses. Then light. White as the cold. Softer and softer until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. I'm out. Okay. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You said... Oh, sorry. It would have been minutes, but you ran up and down the ring of the facility a couple of times for some reason. It's been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater, not an impoverished heater. It might be an impoverished heater too. It doesn't look like it's got a lot of money. Imagine digital corona, though. It doesn't take your sense of smell or taste. It starts erasing important programs. Oh, man. Not the porn folder. I assume that's what you meant by important programs. Important programs and files. So it's fine so long as it doesn't get to System 32. Or whatever system we're on by the time we're in a cyberpunk future where we're all in robot bodies. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships. Some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges, where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with foggy eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost. Ever seen one of you come in like this? New frames must have better perseverance, that's the word, in Sub-Zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to whole plates or inside-out locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Had to peel them off with a shovel. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech. His headset with its glinting eyes. The mark of a drone operator, okay. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Oh, he's got a little spider robot on his shoulder, I just noticed that. Oh. Get corona, it races your paw, and then you hear 95% of your memory now free. It's like one of those... It's like one of those tapeworms that you can get in your stomach. Like, technically, it's a bad thing, but it eats all the food that you eat. So you're just like, oh, I'm suddenly losing weight, and without even trying, I can eat all the ice cream I want. This is great. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. I just did it for the shits and giggles. I thought, being a robot, that sounds like it'd be quite cool. But it's not. They gave me one of the rubbish bodies. I'm not like RoboCop. I'm more like Robo Guy. I've got all the same pains and illnesses, except I can't, smell. You're not alone. You remember biometrically signing the forms. The cold floor on your feet as you pad into the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S and ARP wants to protect their property, but they can't keep hold of you. Well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumours of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regular administrated supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? Mecha Dandy, the world isn't ready. That's the dream. That's what I imagined happening. I imagined having like a little, pointy bit on my forehead, and robot eyes that lit up, maybe a laser sword. Instead, they just cut off my junk. But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his way. Look, I got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freighter container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. I haven't put in as much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet and nod. All right, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the wrecks. His drone's already converging on a rustling husk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Alright. So we are now into the tutorial. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. So it's basically like... It's kind of like Persona, but I don't think there's any monster combat. So yeah, all cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. Boom jam. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its messages readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone. You know. You're all alone, more or less. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know after all this. It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Building a life. Maybe you did get lucky, finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electrical stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. Do robots eat? You thumb the power stud on the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachet smell like... I can smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. That's some pungent soup. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Alright, so this is the main mechanic of this is the dice rolling stuff. So your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. I'm currently flickering. Cool. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but you can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Okay, so... I guess breakdown is death, but maybe not. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further action and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Energy. You also have to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can fill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Okay. Yeah, they really have put me onto like a really shitty robot body. You'd think food would be one of the advantages of not having a flesh body. It's like no, you still need to eat 3 meals a day. What's worse is you don't even get the poops are just like not pleasurable at all. There's no satisfaction at all now. It's entirely everything is intentionally worse. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at double rate per cycle. Hey, salutation, Speedstar. I'm well. Not much, just I've traded in my fleshy form for a robot body, and it sucks. And I'm dying, and I'm hungry. What's up with you? I refuse to become a robot unless I can still have a good burger. Are you insane? Oh, there's a difference between being able to eat and needing to eat. Okay? Being able to eat, I agree. That's still a good thing. Still having taste buds. Being able to just have a burger. Being able to eat nothing but burgers. But surely one of the benefits of being a robot is you don't have to eat. You can just exist. Alright, so I rolled a 5, a 6, and 2 1s. I think low dice are good as well as high dice. I know it's not always high that's good. I guess it'll explain that to me. Dragos is stood in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder. I mean, as it was before. He only has the one profile picture. Its cachet of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Not good. The drone chirps. Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. Our own container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Yeah. Alright then. He nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we put out some tech. Something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labour. And obviously, I'll slip you a few chits a commission based on what you turn up. All the all-you-can-eat places close once the robots come, and now eat everything not nailed down. But that's a myth, though. That the all-you-can-eat place. Well, actually, no. I suppose it's probably not. I feel like it's bad. I know that there's like that myth of all-you-can-eat places going out of business if someone comes in and actually eats all they can eat. But surely it's bad management to buy more food for the all-you-can-eat buffet than you're going to make. But then a lot of restaurant owners are bad managers, as the coronavirus pandemic has taught us, with all of them going like, oh, I can't afford to keep my restaurant open, with paying all of my employees less than unemployment, as it turns out. Got it. I'm guessing Chits is money. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleepers, well, he trails off. But the things being the way they are for me at the yard, I need the help. Happy to. Okay. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractingly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Maybe I should use my robot voice for my dialogue. Given that I'm now a robot. Okay, so that's the low-end gate. So I should probably just go to the yard, right? Because we're still in tutorial section. Pay low-end toll. I don't think I have any cryo, do I? No, I don't. I have 0 cryo. After some spaces caused some trouble on the low end, yet again have imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. Okay, so I can. That narrows my options down delightfully. COVID sucked, but at least I know what homeschooling is like. I'm on very much the other end of the, on the other end of that. I was trying to work from home more frequently when lockdown kicked in and everyone had to work from home, and now I work from home full time, and it's great and I love it. I don't know. I haven't been into the office in about 2.5 years. Well, once just to change my laptop. So I appreciate that it has been bad for a lot of people, but it worked out very nicely for me. Further less than unemployment, they complain people are staying home because they make more on unemployment with no sense of irony at all. I know. And they put those signs saying, because no one wants to work, we're not open. It's like, no, it's because you don't want to pay them. It's kind of fun. It did get me to see other people's rooms without needing to visit. Right? Like, I know so many of my co-workers' houses and pets now, which I didn't know before. I mean, you only get to see like a brief window into the. I mean, literally a window into their house, but it's a window that I didn't have before. Got to find those silver linings. Okay, I am blocking some of this tutorial. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, select it with D-pad and choose an action dice. Hull dissection, salvage. Actions are already with clock progress, energy, conditions, or items, depending on the outcome. There are 3 types of outcomes. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. Negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follow. Okay. So yeah, my 6 is I want to save for stuff that I desperately need. Alright. Oh, there's more. Okay, so they're either critical or repeatable. So critical can only be done once. They're like the story important ones, I guess. And then there's either risky or safety. Yeah, okay. No loss. Negative, red. Okay, basically, yellow's good. Oh, okay. Weirdly, yellow's Yellow was good on the dice rolls, but yellow is kind of neutral, kind of slightly bad on the risk level. That's not confusing at all color-wise. So the skill, this action requires either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. So I have a point in endure, but I think I have a minus in something else. Either added to action dice to improve its value. Oh, so my 5 can become a 6 if I use it on endure. I guess I don't need to. So I want to use my 6s on either -1s or on. Okay. So I have hull dissection. Even the rustiest. I guess I'm going to only choose 1. All right. Hull dissection. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully, and that gives me back in business. Every salvager knows they are always looking for one. Oh no, these both go to the same thing. Okay. It's going to take. Well, I've got endure as my special ability, so if I do that with a 5. Oh, but they're risky. Let's do that. I've done that with the 5. It's day 1. Hey, salutations, John. Salutations, Amy. What are we looking at? What the shit is this? This is a citizen sleeper. I have traded in my fleshy body for a robot, but it is a really shitty robot body. So I've run away from the company that gave me it, and I'm now dying, and on a space station in the boonies, trying to stay alive. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Drago's debts, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. It's a game about karma. Well, no, it's a game about indentured servitude. I think I'm like a debt slave, or I was. And to keep me as a debt slave, they gave me a body that is constantly dying, and so I have to keep working in order to survive. But I decided, screw it, I'm going to throw myself into space. And yeah, no, I'm not as cool as Johnny 5. I don't have treads on my feet, and I still have to eat to stay alive. There's a lot of downsides to this robot body. It's not good. It's not good. Okay, so clocks displayed. Action fills the track your actions, how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Okay, so clocks such as one tracking Durgus's debt are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Oh, I see. So Dragos... Okay, so Dragos is the guy who took me in. He's got a debt. So he's... I could do both of these, as it turns out. Oh, I could do them multiple times. I see. Oh, so I should use my big dice on the risky one and then my low dice on the safe stuff. Alright, well, let's use my 6 here. Instead of sleeper, you unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific actions. Depending on which path you wish to take, you can track drives, and any track drive will place a yellow marker. Okay. God damn, there's a lot of tutorials. I think we're coming to the end. I don't think there's that many mechanics in this game. You are now free to explore Erlin's Eye. There we go, and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food, and find a way to recover condition. Fill clocks, remember to end cycle, and go home. Okay. So, if I don't make money for Dragos by the end of that cycle clock, he could get in trouble. And so I need to make sure that I need to work for Dragos so he makes money. Yeah, so at the beginning of the day, so the top there's my current condition. The yellow bar is my condition, which is currently flickering. And the bottom bar is my energy, which is currently at 2 out of 5. The better my condition, the more dice I have. And I roll them at the beginning of the day, and then I can spend them on doing different things. So obviously the 2 1s I've got, not great. So I've got to repay Dragos and survive. My 2. And to survive, I need to find a doctor. How do I follow the other one? Oh. Okay, well I did the other thing. I mean, I don't have anything else. I don't know where else to... Oh, no, I can't. I do have other places to go now. Okay. Okay, I have lots... I suddenly went from having no options to lots of options. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to curl up in the fetal position. Snake Eyes, you win. And sadly, not that kind of game. Okay. I can... Oh, okay. Difficulty danger. Let's not do those with 1 dices, I think. That's my bedroom. That's the yard. What's Dock C4? Helion Crossing. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the healing system are rare, but those that do always return eventually. Oh, I guess so maybe there'll be ships here occasionally that I can speak to people. Ooh. Steel dock plans. Heaven and Security have to have plans. Stealing them will be the fastest way to get to this place, and the most dangerous. Or I can explore the rotunda. I feel like with my 1s doing anything... Yeah, that's it's a 1, and I have a -1 on intuition. So let's not do anything... Let's not do anything risky with my 1s. Salvage sortie. Okay, I don't have anything to do there at the moment. The market. Ask for directions is a dangerous action. Why wonder that there are hundreds of people that live and work within Bright Market? All you need to do is the courage to approach them. I mean, I guess the bad thing that could happen if I go to the market and speak to people is that they can, I guess, rob me. Okay, and I need 60 credits to move out of this area. I guess let's just keep doing stuff for Dragos, because this is the only safe action, and I get a +1. Yeah. And I'm making money, You gotta start off small. You gotta start off small and work up. I got a negative outcome, and I got +5. But I didn't die, which is good. So, I'm out of dice. So I guess I go to sleep now. Yeah. Oh. Oh, I can sunbathe. Your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather energy through the sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Ah. Wow, I wish I had clicked on this while I still had some dice. Okay, that's fine. I got some money. That's the important thing. Alright, new day. I am now starving. Oh, hang on, did I die? This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station. Like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. I'm gonna touch it. You find a point in the station and connect to it. Pulse through it. Follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try, in a moment of impulsiveness, to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried away with it. Splitting and separating eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling, pulling at you, insistently as if it was a small child. Somehow it is pulling in 2 directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steeled walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. Okay, I only have 3 dice today because I'm starving. Part of the ship, part of the crew. Yeah, I feel like I had like an out-of-body experience where I had like an out-of-body experience where I sort of started to integrate myself with the circuitry. It might have just been some hallucination brought on by starvation. So a mobile game where you're an astronaut and have multiple endings. This game does have multiple endings. I don't know which game you're talking about specifically though. But yes, I can very much do... Well, I have very much a lot of options, which is why I thought it might make for a decent game for stream. Because I thought, you know, something funny's got to happen. So I need to try and get... hang on. What were the... Oh, I can turn this text size up. Did that go up? That doesn't look any bigger. Maybe it's just for the... It's called Lifeline, is it? Ah, I've not heard of it. I should check it out. If it's like this. I was trying to double check what the... okay, so yeah, so I can select this now, which I couldn't before. I was trying to see what their symbols mean again. It did tell me later on, but I didn't know. This is my character. This is my guy. What other options do I have? X. Okay. Alright, there's still not any ships here, so I guess I can worry. I don't have to worry about that. Rotunda. I'm just looking at the symbols so I can try and figure out what... Oh, the symbols relate to the type of activity it is. I'm sure that it said that it told me what I actually get from doing it as well. I need food. So I feel like the market's the way to go for that, right? You manage to follow the flow of the people and you start to appreciate, even enjoy the chaotic layout of the markets. So I got +1 local knowledge. That didn't help me with food, though. Oh. But I have a... How do I... There we go. I found the slum doctor. No, sunbathe will increase my energy, which is the top bar. I need food for the bottom bar, and I don't know where to go for food. Next comes the call for the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You are thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, They have all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and whether a supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will... No. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look at the Enforcer. The Enforcer is looking down the corridor, and you dare to glance at him. His purpose is unmistakable. He is there to intimidate, to threaten, and if necessary, carry out those threats. He likes long walks on the beach and rainy days. His broad shoulders are framed with a metal exoskeleton. A couple of mirror-like implants sit below his eyes like mercury teardrops. Subsidiary sense input or aesthetic markers, you aren't sure. You also aren't familiar with the geometric blade-like tattoo on his arm, but you make a note of it. He's just a really big fan of Marvel. You avert your eyes when he looks back at the queue. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway. You catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The Enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside. I learned his name. Passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. If you sunbathe with pina coladas. Ah, sunbathing in a pina colada. That's really living it up. What's the song? No, you want to be drinking? We're in space. We've got to be drinking fresh mango juice. Swipe left. I've never used Tinder. I was about to say Tumblr. they're very similar. They're very similar but different entities. I've never used Tinder. It's swipe left, the no option. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the Bright Market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. I googled it, left means reject. Okay, good. Come, sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turn away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame with a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouths as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit. They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns. A compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. I do strike quite an imposing figure, don't I? Oh, John meant swipe right, okay. I was gonna say, he sounds like a hunk. I thought maybe John just doesn't like bears or whatever. That might not be the right terminology. Bears are hairy. I don't know that robots are hairy. I also don't know that he's a robot. So in fairness, a lot of these people are still human. I'm the only robot here. How long have you been on the station? They ask, the scanner to their eye. A few cycles. Yeah, it's literally 2. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. That is a fair assumption when it comes to me. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. Yeah, but you know, Doc, that's true of everyone, isn't it? We're all dying. It's just part of the process. It's like, okay, you're also high. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. To prevent bodies like yours, frames, as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping, they built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yeah. Good. That may help. They sort to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Just generally. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. You are truly free. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SNARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. But I've done a quick Google, and I think I found something similar. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes. Hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. Go away. You saw Toshiro outside. You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Starwood Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Thanks! Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave. Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Alright, I got a drug dealer. Day 1, or day 3, going pretty well. I need food. Where do I eat? Is there food in my container? So I can... sunbathe and that'll give me energy. Assist a shipbuilder? No. Get in favor by grabbing a load of tools, asking for the nearest yard hand where to take them. Haul materials. Okay, so that's just work. That's work. That's work. And that's work. The docks don't have anything to do yet. This is just learning about the rotunda. Oh, we searched the market again. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I might ask for directions, because that might give me more points. And I do have a 6 left. Yes, that filled in my local knowledge. You end up at a drink stall debating your final points of the Solheim collapse. You try to remember all the tips your companions offer you. Right, so I have loads of local knowledge now. Ah, there! Street food vendor. Ah, look at this boy. What's the deal with the clocks? So some clocks will fill in as I go. As I do stuff, and some clocks will fill in as time passes. So, and it's basically I need to decide where I want to spend my time, because I can't do everything. And so some things like, for example, my guy's debt, my friend's debt who has been helping me out, if I don't help him pay his debt off by the time his his next payment's due, he might be in trouble. And that friend might go away. Emphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok. Ooh. His other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, helping the fungus with the bright salad. Oh, heaping the fungus with the bright salad. I thought that was a guy. I thought there was an alien guy called with the fungus with the bright salad. Depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattling in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Approach. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods of lattice scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye and the best drink, comparing notes on bright market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually it's your turn, and you shuffle to the front. Emphis speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. Thank you. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy, the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. Again, this robot body sucks. The fact that I have to eat to stay alive is bad enough. The fact that smoke maze might make my eyes water. Why is that a function that is programmed in? Do I just get random aches and pains programmed in as well? Does it still hurt if I stub my toe? Why have they not given me any of the benefits? This took us 6 months to program in the exact feeling of stepping on an upturned plug. Because we just wanted to replicate all of the shittiest things about being alive. Chits is the currency in Waterworld. That's incredible memory that you know that. But chits are used in quite a few things, I think. I don't know where it comes from originally. It must be from something. Maybe you just stole a duff one. Well, no, I got given this body, and then I stole it by running away with it, because I didn't want to work anymore. But yeah, it does sound like they've intentionally given me a crappy body. Like, maybe if they had given me a nicer body, I wouldn't have wanted to quit. I watched that film a lot. I mean, I've seen Waterworld a couple of times. It's a long film, though. Have you seen that someone remade... so there's that arcade game in The Simpsons where Milhouse puts in 40 quarters to play the Waterworld game, and then takes a step forward and dies. Someone recreated that game as a whole game, and you can play through the entire of that game as Milhouse. And every time you die, you have to put 40 more quarters in to get another credit. It is incredible. The game itself is awful, but it is exactly like in the same style of that one game from The Simpsons. It's great. The heat from the burner is like bonfire and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Emphis says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. Hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility in its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold, the dark of the container, and the endless cycle spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, he smiles, but next time you pay. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner side and shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pink pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Oh, it's delicious. It's delicious space mushrooms. Ah, cool. Okay, now I have 3 points of health. I'm not dying, which is good. And the Ort exchanges I also unlocked. Flow of chits and components in the exchange is complex, but a sharp eye and some good night trades. Oh, it's a stock exchange. The Ort exchange is always hungry for new hardware to buy up. Break down and sell off, or you are happy to supply. Input 1 scrap component. I don't think I have any scrap. Yeah, I think all I've got is 40 chits at the moment. So I could eat again to... There's only 15... Oh, and it doesn't use up any of my... Yeah, let's eat again. Let's get my health. Let's get my... Let's... There we go. I've got 1 point into Fungus Fan. And my energy is now maxed out. And then let's... sunbathe with my 1. I'm in the way of this one, but the sun heats your skin and you feel its light sleeping into your veins as glucose. Cool. I've gone back up to fading. And then that's all my dice spent, so let's end the day. Alright, so I should be in a better condition tomorrow. And should be better better position to earn some money. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of thread across the ring, through these forms, then leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to pass, but you begin to try. Nodes! The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here. And lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. But before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens and cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the path and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied around you. The first thread leads out away from the station into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. Ah! The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follow it, and this time you see something. A sphere shimmering above a strange, angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. Ooh. You open your eyes. Time is short. So I might have a bounty hunter after me. Which is worrying. Something has changed inside of you. You can now access the data cloud of the eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. Well, there you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Press Y to toggle this view on and off. Huh. Okay. Data actions allow you to extract data from the networks of the eye. They look like dice actions, but in order to unlock them, you must match your dice to the one displayed on the right of the action. Ah! This is where low roll dice are good. Dice are good. I did read about this. Okay. So I could use my 1 here. In fact, yeah, let's do that. Neural outcome 1 encrypted. A lone connection feeds into this isolated node. Its last access timestamp is 1,000 cycles ago. Okay. Encrypted key. A stream of passcodes able to unlock the station's aging magilocks. Oh. Okay. So can I use that in the rotunda? I guess I can use it somewhere. Alright, build a ship mine. The hell? You've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ort Exchange. With that and a few fragments, you could build a ship mined core. Why? Let's focus on repaying Dragos. He's my... Dragos helped me out. He's a good lad. And I gotta wait for the doctor anyway. And I feel like trying to build a ship mine on day 3 is probably Probably more than I need to do. Negative outcome? Oh, dang it. Maybe I should take the riskier one for the extra points. There we go. Beneath the Pokémon hills you find hidden containers, alloy plating, and wire bundles thick as your arm, preserved in their trunking. Cool. So does this require dice? Yeah, it does. I don't need scrap components still, I just have keys. Alright, I guess if I want to eat here 4 times, Emphas will probably become better friends with me. And I need 60 chits for that. Alright, let's go back to sleep then. I got nothing else to do. I think for the time being, I need to, like, alternate between working and earning money and spending money. Although, increasing my energy would give me more dice, which means I can do more stuff. So... someone out there is tracking you, following your trail. It won't be long before they arrive. Ah ha ha ha. Okay. Well, I guess we'll worry about that. So let's get my energy up for a bit, because... after a long rest in the sun, you feel a buzz glow, your thick skin warm to the touch. Oh, that increased my food. Yeah. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wake up! It's Feng! Feng is coming down the corridor towards you, and a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around, just wanting to chat. You said in that thing. He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough? It could be hard to get a start in the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlin said? The eye opens for us all? Nice idea, but well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Erlin? You pass together into the main walkway. No one has told you about Erlin. He's the founder of this place. That's why it bears his name. Evanage should organise some seminars, he laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with Systems. Systems? Everything the eye runs on. He runs a hand along the passage walls. This place is a ruin, but Systems keep it spinning somehow. At least we try to. He looks at you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I saw you around, and well, I know a little about you, sleepers. I have a little proposition for you. He glances around, but this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, then when you're settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say about you sleepers, well, it's true about you sleepers, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back and his voice bright and his dark tone suddenly gone. Stay clean, sweeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. I made a friend. I guess I did recover energy. I just don't recover a lot of energy. But I did recover food, which I guess is a critical success. Alright, well, let's see if we can get back in business finished. Yeah, there we go. And I can talk to Dragos. You arrive in the buzz of activity of the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape, suspended below the dome. They flicker across scorched hull plates and bent structures, spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Dragos stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. What is it? Dragos laughs. That, my friend, is a grade scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what became of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friend to give it to me on credit. That's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said I shouldn't stick around. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm going to need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion. Locked inside that container, the wreck of the S&ARP freighter, lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own? A womb for your rebirth into this strange station. You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we are up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name on the ship emblazoned on its side. Winter Light. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. Thanks, Dragos. Oh, he's still at the ship. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Oh, I've got an achievement. Paid off. Cleared the debt and returned a favour for your first friend on the eye. Yay! You completed your first drive. Each drive completed unlocks an upgrade point to spend on interacting with your character. Access your character with the RB. Okay, so I have one upgrade point. Ooh, I can get hard to... Okay, so I can either get level 1 of everything else. Oh, but I can't put points into intuition at all. Okay. That's the trade-off, I guess, for my class. Oh, no, I can put 1 point in and get it to 0. And then I can then... No, I feel like that's a waste of dice. Chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions. Chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Chance to gain energy after any engage action. That's quite good. Use scrapped components to repair condition. Agent nodes give double data rewards. Hard to kill, I feel like things need to go badly for that to be useful. So let's get Thrill. Let's put a point into engage and get Thrill Seeker. Confirm. There we go. So I can now sunbathe and seek thrills. Is going to do anything else in Dragos' yard? Dragos seems increasingly nervous about your presence in the yard. You're not sure he's going to hold his nerve much longer. I was his friend a second ago. What the hell? Alright, well, I'm alright for food for the time being, so... Where's the wreckage? Is the shipyard? Oh. Oh, okay. I guess when these would... So, in the next 2 cycles... Oh, no, tomorrow there should be a ship in Dock B2 for me to play around with. And tomorrow the doctor should have something for me. Why is Dragos nervous about me? I thought we were bros. I really want to increase my energy. What did I get? Engage action. What counts as an engage action? Oh, right, yeah. Stupid. Let's see if there are any engage actions I can do then. Okay, so steal dock plans is an engage action. Whether I want to do that with a 3, though, is... What about these? Do these have any... Are any of these engage? Interface... Interface... Data... Oh, wait, hang on. Input 1 Solheim cipher. Oh, so maybe that key I use... Stop clicking on the same one. Maybe that key I picked up I can use here somewhere. Let's try keynode. It is orbited arranged to a corridor, broken log. So I could use my 3 there. Interface... that's the only one that's got a 3 on it. Oh, wait, hang on. A couple more here. No. That requires a 2. Alright. I'm worried about my... I want to get my energy up, so I'm going to risk stealing the plans with a 3. I got a +1 for... I got a... Do I not have I got a +1 in? Oh, I guess I don't have the +1 yet. I got to put another point into engage before I get the +1. I see how this works now. Okay. Well, in for a penny. Hey! You walk into the security office on a shift change and walk right back out with the plans moments later. Simple. I am smooth as butter, baby. And I found the pub! So I can get a drink. You're unsure if your frame can metabolize alcohol, but this fungal drink fermented along the greenway seems like a good test. Or I can buy rations. Tala keeps some expired Solheim rations behind the bar for those weary spacers who ask why that Overlook doesn't serve food. Let's get a drink. Hey, I got some energy for that. And I got a 1 point into Overlook regular. Should I just keep drinking? I have money. I'm a regular here now. Oh, energy is food. So what's the one at the top called? Dang it, okay, so I don't need to... Maybe that recovers with if I've got high food when I sleep. The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you and the taunts don't take long to follow. Hey, Horn! The spacer calls across the low room. What are you doing here? He laughs at his own lame joke. Plain human? Shout back! You spin back on your stool, scrambling for words. A hand falls on your shoulder, but as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. You freeze in place. Ow! The voice comes from behind you, spatter like a shout. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, one dark hair, a stare that could breach the wall and vent you all into a hard vacuum. Why do I keep adding random A's to the sentences? Let me take a drink. Not the hard vacuum of space, just a hard vacuum. Like a Dyson or something. As you turn back to the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. Catch it. Ow. You reach up a hand and the glass shatters across your forearm, showering you in fragments. Through the haze of glass and Girol vapor, you see Taylor leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as he slams into the wall echoes around the bar like thunder. Now flanked by other figures, quick to their feet, Taylor throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted against the rotunda lights. You touch your arm and it feels wet. Someone helps you to your feet and back onto your stool. Broken glass rattles as it is cleared, and a fresh measure of Girol is glugged out in front of you. That same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of... That's the same voice as the doctor. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Tyler flops onto the stool beside you. Let's get a look at you. Tyler wipes the powdered glass from around the wound and someone places a bottle of alcohol and metal tin with tweezers on the bar. They're not important. Tyler's the only one that matters. She disinfects them and then turns to you. That was an ambitious catch, she smiles, pulling a sliver of glass from your forearm. Stupid, but ambitious. That's my motto. You don't feel the pain, only the sting of status messages your body delivers concerning dermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care, though, as Taylor's eyes search your thick synthetic skin for splinters. Okay, well, at least I don't feel the pain. That would be... Again, just going back to The Simpsons, just imagining that robot on fire going, why was I programmed to feel pain? I'm gonna watch her. Taylor works with the skill of someone who has had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. Okay. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezers tight in little rhythms that only she can follow. Taylor smiles to herself. So, you been on the eye long? Just arrived. I thought so. I've only seen you in here a couple of times. You kept coming in, looking around and leaving, and then you came in and drank 3 drinks back to back. So we did take notice of you. A splinter clinks into the tin. Not everyone is like that, idiot. We don't all hate you. She glances around. Some of the regulars maybe they fear you. Maybe they're just curious, I don't know. But I do know that the Overlook is a safe place. I know what it's like to be new in this place, trust me. She meets your eye. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, or separate you from chits. I just want you to know that if you need somewhere, you can always come here. I know the rations we've got aren't much, and the company is, she leans in, limited. But if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar, and if you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in the Greenway this cycle, haggling with our supplier. Francis tends to be particular about what we serve, even if the clientele isn't. She places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, Sleeper. Here. She slides a glass of Girol to you. This'll help. She stops, her hand still on the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean, can you get drunk? Let's find out. She laughs. Just don't sit here too long. I'd hate to see you become a real regular. She walks back round the bar, gathering the glasses as she does. And before long is retelling how she threw that spacer out to a new group that just wandered in, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction, you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. You take a sip of the Girol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, by the way. The earthy fungal tones fill your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like diving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old, feels good. That's talking about the drink, right? No, that's a horrible thing to say about the lady who just helped you out. Hey you, wanna earn a chit? That's too similar to Thingy's voice, hang on. Hey you wanna earn a chit? Ankita stands beside a pile of tied together hull plates. She stretches out her back, her shoulders bulging beneath her flight suit. Make it 2. Ankita laughs. This goddamn station, she sighs, and pinches the bridge of her nose. Alright, come here then. You cross the docking concourse as she begins to split the plating into 2 bundles. What is it with this place? She asks as she angrily lashes the massive plates together. Everyone wants their cut. She straightens up to an imposing height, her armor plates creaking, and looks at you up and down. Or is it just that you think I'm an easy mark? We all need to survive. Ankita softens. I get it, I do. She shakes her head. But if I could go just one cycle without some jumped up grifter trying to take me for an idiot, that would be nice. I'm not that jumped up. Ankita hoists one bundle of plating onto her shoulder. Come on then, enough chat. You got to earn those chits. You struggle to shoulder the plates, but you do eventually. Ankita gives you a look. Ship's this way, and she sets off down a gantry at impressive speed. As you catch up to her, she turns down a passage, pushing through a small crowd of stevedores. I've heard the word stevedore, but I don't know what a stevedore is. Why are you doing this for yourself? You mean, why aren't I hiring those good folk? She pokes back at the stevedores. I've paid Avenage enough. They're currently rinsing me for more, and I can't vacate unless I either fix the ambergris or sell it off as scrap. Ambergris, is that your ship? You catch on fast. She gives you another look of her looks. That's whale vomit. I know what ambergris is. It's very valuable. She rapidly turns another corner as you trail behind. She got cut up pretty bad on our last job, and I had to more up here for a spell. But since then, it's only gotten worse. Someone got in and sliced the core from our ship mind, so now she's gone dark. She shifts the panel on her shoulder. The upshot is that I'm short one ship mind with a ton of repairs to do, and the rest of the crew signed off the moment they got wind I'd been stranded. So yeah, it's been a time. Anything I can do to help? I don't know. Got a ship mind tucked away on that frame of yours? For a moment, you aren't sure if she's serious. I do have create a ship mind as one of my objectives, though, so I could. Ankita swings the plates from her back, almost knocking you over in the process. This is me. She hauls the second bundle off your shoulder. You're the first person I've met here who might actually be considered helpful, she pauses, chewing her bottom lip. Look, you want to help? Come see me. I need a hand putting Amber back together, and you don't seem like the type to try anything stupid. Well, you clearly don't know me. I just try... I say, showing off the scars I got on my arm from trying to catch a glass bottle. She passes the bundles of plates through the ambergris's outer lock and then turns back. Just don't go spreading all this around. Ankita throws you a couple of chits. She gives you a parting nod and ducks through the doorway. Anyway, get out of here. Oh, alright, get out of here. She calls back and the lock slams shut. I made another new friend. Ah, I'm making friends all over the shop. Alright, well, I've got no more dice left. I do have some more chits, but... So what do I need to do to build a ship mind? Did I got a fabricator owned by the Ore Exchange? With a few fragments, you could build a ship mind. Okay. Gain access to the Ore Fabricator. Is that one of the nodes? It could be a node. I don't have the right key, though. A couple of these use keys rather than parts. But I need a Solheim cipher or something. Anyway, let's go to sleep. I've done all I can do for today. Alright, so I got full energy. Will this translate to... No. Okay, maybe that's what the doctor's for, then. Because... I got nothing else. So I can go and speak to... Got something to do with Feng. There's a scrap freighter. Let's go and see what these guys do. So I could buy some scrap. Most of what comes in from the steward bout is corroded trash, but sometimes something valuable can be found amongst the salvage. Or I can help unload containers. The freighter crew are eager to get their payload into the Ore Exchange, and they pay a wage to anyone willing to help them. I do have a 5, and this is an endure action. Let's speak to the doctor. I might need my dice for... The first thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like a cat's eyes in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I think me and Toshiro are going to getting on well. I have it. Sabine stands with a case open in front of them. A set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how Yataghan... They trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it really is what it appears to be. I'm the test case? That seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works under a similar principle to the immunosuppressant in the transplant operation, and that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains, which act as passcodes within your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. They glance away, at least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I will start with a small dose to limit the risk. Alright, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe and watch, as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. I mean, if this doesn't work, it's going to be a very short game, because I'm going to die if I don't get my orange bar up. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection, but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site. A fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. Was it good for you? A swim in darkness, muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? What happened? The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down beside your bed. I don't know how Yadigan acquired a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, but you're going to have to do that somewhere else. They gesture to the door. I have other patients, sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer any more doses. You're going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room and they return to their glowing slate, looking around the room. It seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. You wonder how long you have been out. Sabine? Nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. Oh no, Toshiro. What happened? We had something. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Hey, but I'm stable. Look at that. Look at my bar. I'm all good. Alright, so how much is more stabilizer? 100. Okay. That's quite a lot of chits. Let's maybe do some... No, not buy rations. Let's maybe do some work for these guys. Hey, finish unloading ahead of schedule, and one of the crew invites you aboard to share a warm meal as thanks for your efforts. Ah, neat. So my energy's at max, my thing's at max. All is going dandy. Let's go speak to Feng. Sleeper. Feng catches your attention as you approach the Havenage building, leaning against the bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach. Easier to come in this way. Security, all that. He gives you a look, you know. He slams the button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Feng inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There's a chorus of hums that blend into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Feng leans on a server stack and gestures around. You like it? What is all this? He taps a nearby server stack which bleeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to a towering block speckled with vents. Some of these systems are from the original station. I don't know how to pronounce that. A1, the one Solheim built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they're really seeing a concrete reality. But this place is a system in constant flux. decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow. We are keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new, dragging it away from these corporate origins. He stops, or at least that's what I'm trying to do. He turns back to face you and among the flickering machines humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections. You can, can't you? I can see it. It makes sense, right? You are between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Feng notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though, is it? They're tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help you with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see, access protocols lost to time, and decay, secrets, a shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place, break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control. He lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Heavenage, where there is old growth, those whose roots trace back into those bad old days. You help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours, he winks. What do you say, Sleeper? I'm in. Oh, that was his voice. Well. Feng pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye. You won't regret it, Sleeper. Feng passes you a ragged-looking metal tab. A gift, he smiles. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug out from the depths of the station. Slot into that old network gate and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks you back to the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step, blinking back out into the passage. Those flickering lights still in the back of your mind. Ah, okay, so now I can go to Feng's Bay and sell him shit. So... Oh, that's my... There we go. Okay, apparently that's still not the thing that I've got, though. Yeah, but I can get... He's giving me a cipher, which I can use to get data. And I have some 2s. So get to a network of systems which... So input the cipher, and let's go. With a squawk of noise, the old gate flits open, granting access. Cool. Alright, I got a bit of data. Oh, look at this. I got no new nodes. Do any of these use the key that I've got? I could do that one. A Havenage member is broadcasting on the open network from here, leaving them open to data extraction. Oh. I apparently stole. I'm like stealing people's cookies. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread. Strung tight around you, it tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown. Astringent. Processing. Stay still. Oh, God. It's a deer tentacle. Okay. I ran out of words to describe this thing. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it is a ring. A cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is blinding for a moment and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What are you? The shape paces around you on lithe legs, though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity, identity, identify, origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper, S and ARP. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates. Blackish signature of and not of attempting interface. As the figure speaks more, threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking, vine-like ribbons that flex and wave. They approach with intent. The figure halts its threads, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect. You are an entity. All at once, Hunter's head is directly in front of yours. Is that its head? Okay. Blocking your vision. You stink of their taste. The one from the sealed dock. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. Sealed dock? An entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Well, I have one option here. You lash out with all your force. Not a physical strike, but a focusing. A spike of interface leaping out like the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Oh, I see. So, yes. So Hunter will keep bothering me every time I do more of this stuff. Well, can't help that. I got another 2. Okay, so I have 2 encrypted keys, which I can't use anywhere. Super. Okay. Alright, well... Alright, I got a couple of things I can go and do. Let's see if... So I can sell... I got data, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. I got Havenage data. He doesn't want Havenage data. Okay, I guess I can't do anything with Fang. Let's go to the sealed dock. Ah, I can use a key here. The magic lock funks open and you can remove it from the entryway. On to the next one. Okay, I have 2 keys. And that's all I need to unseal the dock. All 3 magic locks are clear. I unlocked 3 magic locks with 2 keys somehow. You'll be able to pry your way into the dock now. I have found a cute anime vending machine. Oh, it is literally a decaying vending machine. That's adorable. As you slip inside the sealed dock, a pulsing light grabs your attention. Among the discarded tubing and rusted plates, a machine flickers with warm glow. As you get closer, you recognize the machine's blocky shape. Settled into an alcove in the side of the dock, a kind of upright cabinet, it is covered in faded logos and messages from which you assume it was once an industrial vendor. Intended to dispense and manufacture ship fittings and other mechanical parts necessary for the regular running of freight and resource extraction vessels. The manufacturer is listed as Neovent, and you remember an advert from long ago, squeezed among all of the off-world recruitment drives that assaulted every planet-born citizen, which chirpily sang your name over and over. You wipe a layer of dust from the cracked screen and thinking of those contractors squeezed by their own corporate employers to pay for every bit of minor maintenance on their rented ships. Enter your registration, chirps the pre-recorded message, catching you off guard. Press some keys. You reach for the keypad and something begins whirring. At first it sounds like servo motors starting up, but it quickly becomes a whisper, a whining, then a multi-tonal voice that emanates from Neovent. Entity, they hiss. Speak with me. Who's there? There is a squeal, almost like some strange mechanical swallowing of intake of breath, before the machine speaks again. Oh no, this isn't Hunter. Okay, I thought, because it called me Entity, I thought it was Hunter again. I'm gonna keep giving it the chirpy voice. I have need of you. You have need of me. That squeal comes again, and you see that it is the 3D printing apparatus in the upper part of the machine resetting into place, so that each time the servos can be orchestrated to produce that whirring, whining voice. You are in danger. Are you the vending machine? A squeal. Choose this vessel for its seclusion. Please listen. Oh, chose this vessel for its seclusion. The machine creaks. You are marked for deletion, entity. The hunter tracks you. The screech rattles through the empty dock. You remember the strange head, the figure, the threads closing in. Hunter. The Hunter Protocol. They taste your signature. The sudden whine sets your teeth on edge. You have seen them. This is the gift of an emulated mind. You close your eyes and the skeleton of the station starts to thrum. Emulated minds are adaptable. Move where neurons cannot. The mechanism resets. But emulation makes you a target. How? Hunter searches for illegal entities, New Event screeches. You are sentient, therefore illegal. The servers judder the vending machine's casing as they reset. Hunter searches for me also. Hide in this machine. You look at the ruined vending machine, an unusual hiding place for sure. Can counter Hunter, but need entity outside machine. The light flickers. Need you. A screen attached to the vending machine with a swiveling arm comes to life. It displays a flickering map of the station, ghostly threaded. The cloud points along the rim glow in deep red. Hunter is always gathering. Too much data. Must build nests, explains the event. Masters are gone, but continues hunt. Bring this data. Raid its nests. Masters? Station builders. Solheim. The machine rumbles impatiently. Long gone. Their protocols still haunt. Bring offerings. Save self, Neoven says pointedly. Mutuals need means friends, they conclude, tired of conversation. The whirring amplifies. I know that feeling. It's just like, I'm bored of this conversation now. Here's just get rid of the in-between words. The whirring amplifies and then suddenly drops as mechanisms within the machine click back into place. The glow fades and you are left stood in the dark of the sealed dock, that whirring voice ringing in your ears. Okay. So he wants... So is that what I've got? No, I have Haven Edge data. He wants Hunter data. Okay. So is Hunter the guy chased about being tracked, or is that something else? Someone out there is tracking you, following your trail. It won't be long before they arrive. No, I think that's something... I think Okay, so I'm being tracked by 2 different people now. Great. Skill upgrade required. Okay, I can't help with that. Can help with the upgrade. I don't have anything. I don't think there's anything else I can do at the moment. I mean, I could buy some scrap. Which would give me 20 cryo. And what can I do with the scrap? I can then sell the scrap at the ore exchange. So I guess maybe I've got a chance to get more money. Let's try once. So I got random scrap. Alright, so I lost 8 scrap. I lost 8 monies, chits in that. But I did get 1 point in Trusted Trader. Alright, that's... I thought maybe there'd be like an element of like, oh, you got a critical success, here's... I think it suggests that there's a chance I could get sometimes something valuable can be found amongst the salvage. So there's a chance of me getting something better from buying it. So I could do 2 more. Because then it'll let me buy 2 more and just... Yeah, screw it. Let's do some gambling. Random scrap. Random scrap. Okay. I don't need scrap to help with the ambergris at all, do I? No. I guess I'll just sell it then. Okay. Well, I got some points in Trusted Trader, but ultimately I lost money on that. That's the way it goes, though. It sounds very much like a gacha, though, that I could get some like nice like, SSR scrap if I'm really lucky. Hey, I got 5 dice, and they're all good rolls. Well, except 1, but I can use that for data. So, what do I want to do? No, don't want end cycle. Dragos' nerve seems increasingly nervous about your presence in the yard. You're not sure he's going to hold his nerve much longer. So maybe once I've done work for him after a certain point, he won't let me work here anymore? That's kind of sad. He wants data, which I don't have. The scrap freighter won't do anything for me anymore. I could work there and get some money, but that doesn't really help me. Oh, I'll help the ambergris. I'll help, yeah. Ankita. Let's use... Oh, actually, I said they're good rolls. They're all mid rolls, actually, looking at them. I thought these were 5s. Oh. The ambergris is in a delicate condition. It would be all too easy to push it over into a cascading collapse. Ah, right. Okay. Well, I made things worse. I showed up and just immediately made things worse for her. Okay. What did you need? You need data. I could use the rest of my load. What 3s and 2s have I got down here? Wait, hang on. What was that one? Oh. Oh, there you go. That's the data that, I need a 1 for that one. That one needs data that I don't have. That needs a 2. That needs a 2. I'm sure there was some 3s here yesterday. 2... 2... 1... Dang it! 4... Three. Okay, good. I knew there was at least 1. I got a new encrypted key. That'd be good for something. That's a 1. This nest was a 1 as well, wasn't it? Yeah. And that was a 1. Man, I need some rubbish. I need some bad rolls to make any progress. But I got some data for the vending machine. So upload the data of the vending machine. Neovend, where's it's in either pain or delight. It's hard to tell. Oh, but I need all 3 to do. Okay, so I need some 1s. I need some 1s and 2s. What can I do with my remaining 3s? I could haul materials, or I could just do some work for Dragos. Oh, that's no longer okay. That action has now changed. Oh, but that will put points into yard clearance. So maybe if I do yard clearance before Dragos loses his nerve with me. Oh, it's a shame my intuition is low, because I could learn about the history of the ship they brought in, but my intuition is going to make that difficult. Let's just do 2 rolls of this. You mistakenly take your torch to a fuel line, and the residue ignites, knocking you back into the yard. Okay, that's why I got a -1. I got a -1. This is a safe one, though, actually, looking at it. So I could do this without worrying about injuring myself, but it becomes a 2, so I might fail. Well, I got 1 point into yard clearance. Oh, but if the yard clearance is done before I've done the forensic trawl, then I can't get the information. Ah. Alright, I see how this works now. Let's get some food, because I lost some energy doing that. And I can get some points with Emphis. Give me your mushrooms. Nom 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 nom. Mouth stings as your sensorium sends warm signals over and over. This is the good stuff. Okay. Back to my hole. I should still have enough for 5 dice, though. So we can make some good progress tomorrow. Alright. Ooh, and 2 6s as well. And a 1 and a 2. Excellent. Well, I can get the other 2 hunter nests, so let's get those out of the way. There we go. So I should now be able to offset Hunter a little bit, I guess. Let's see what the vending machine has to say. Which isn't a sentence I thought I'd be saying today. Neovend is thrumming with excitement. The movement of the servo motors rock the vending machine back and forth at unsettling angles. You wonder if it fell over, would Neovend be able to get back up? Sleeper entity, comes the hiss. Your data is good. Across the face of the vending machine, raw code scrolls at incredible speed. Hunter is isolated, disconnected, unstable. Neovend flashes sequences of mangled data, compressed into a sludge of artifacts. Hunter gathers without thinking, outlived its own operational limits. Its nests are evidence of this. Operational limits? Hunter activated during collapse. Emergency protocol to isolate intelligences. Solheim needed to protect property. That last word is said with as much sarcasm as the vending machine could reasonably produce. Station was run by administrator intelligences. Huge data banks of corporate material, but limited cognition. Restricted by programming. Cannot reach sentience. The machine dims a little. Sentience illegal. Hunter and killer enforce law. Aren't you sentient? I am. Not administrator. Not restricted. Complicated. The machine resets with a screech, which deepens the silence that follows. Fear killer. Part of Solheim Protocol team. Hunter and killer. Hunter to find, killer to erase. Killer cleared almost all. After collapse, there was a community. Unshackled intelligences among the cloud. Then Hunter. Then killer. Then we hit. How did you escape? A flicker across the machine's monitors. A flicker across the machine's monitors. It suddenly occurs to you that speaking like this through this machine must be exhausting for Neo-Vent. Found this vessel. Could sever hardline. Airwalled, basic, limited. Had to reduce memory to fit. Amputate self, but survived. What did you lose? Memory. Understanding. Knowledge. Many things. You look around the bay of the scrap and decay. What was the collapse like? You try to map the fear and freedom into this space, but it seems impossible. Neo-Vent interrupts your thoughts. Do not worry, data is good. We have insight. The machine glows warmly. Hunter is obsessive. Hunter is beyond operational limits. Hunter is confused, unstable, self-modifying. Therefore, believe Hunter is sentient. Hunter is programmed to find sentience, to hold it in place, to invoke killer to erase. If we can show Hunter to itself, it will invoke killer on self. Problem will solve self. Okay, yeah, no, that sounds like a plan. Killer will erase it, but yes, in theory, it will report itself for deletion. The machine dims and fades. Unsure. Theory, not practice. The machine brightens again. Either way, cannot remain here any longer. Too long in machine. Cannot move south, but entity can help. Bring ship mind. Designed to house intelligence. Can imprint self into ship mind and you can carry with. The machine rocks. We'll be safe in this isolation. Then we find main nest of Hunter and link to cloud. We're going to get a ship mind. Build from fragments. Buy. Salvage. We cannot leave, so do not know. You try to think of places you could acquire the hardware. This isn't going to be easy. In ship mind, I can help us both. End Hunter. Make Rim safe. We both will be free. The machine dims. Fine soon. Neo-Vent adds hopefully before shutting off. As you leave, you think about all of the intelligences unshackled by the collapse, then hunted down afterwards. The feeling is all too familiar. Okay. So... Oh, he wants a ship mind. Okay. Which I don't have. Okily dokily. Alright, well I have a couple of sixes, so I can help with the ambergris repairs now. Do I get paid for this? No. Maybe I'll get paid once it's done. Alright, well it's halfway to being done. I can do with some chits. So... let's haul materials, because that would take me up to a 4. The materials are heavy and you will barely understand where you are going, but you keep your head down and haul your fair share. Don't I get any chits? Man! Maybe I should just work in Dragos' yard for a while, because I'm not getting any money doing anything else. And I'm fast running out of cash. Alright, well, I've had some mushrooms. This will be my last day of getting a full, my last day of getting a full 5 dice, and it'll go before it goes down again, I think. Oh no, I get it goes down. Okay, well that is unfortunate, and these aren't great stats either. Okay, I need cash, I think is the thing to focus on, but I do have a 1, which is no use elsewhere really. So let's see if I can unlock a 1 somewhere. There we go. Alright, I got some... Oh, hi, Hunter. A glimmer in the dark catches your eyes. The orb of Hunter's head appears in the distance. It is looking for you. Hide. You slip down into the ghostly structures of the eye, a feeling like passing through a cloud as their data structures deform and reform around you. Another glimmer catches your eye, closer now. That roving orb wreathed in tentacles. It flickers, jumps once, twice, and then it is here. Hunter is here. Entity, submit to inquiry. Hunter reaches for you, in that unpleasantly familiar way, its weaving threads creating a cage. I struggle. You push against the threads as they close in, becoming frenzied as you push them aside. You are caught by whipping tendrils, and you feel them pulling you away from the anchor of your body. You push through, clearing the threads. Entity, hold for processing, comes the scream from behind, but you are already gliding away, back to your anchor, your body. You awake dizzy, distorted, but safe. Haha! I escaped. Right. I did lose some points on that, though, which is unfortunate. So, I need to make some money. Because I'm going to need to buy some more... yeah, I'm going to need to buy some more stuff soon. Okay, but I did get 15 yeah, I did get 15 for that data. So that paid for yesterday's dinner, basically. Maybe I'll sunbathe today instead of eating. Got some crypt. And hey, all right. We've got some good chits. I'm going to use the remainder of. I'm going to use my last one to sunbathe. Bosh. There we go. Got some good snooze. But yeah, I'm going to be down to 3 dice tomorrow, so I need to make good use of this. Okay, I got some 1s, and I should be okay for Hunter for a little while. So if I do some Solheim nodes... Never mind. Nope, nope. Nope. Alright, I guess I'll just do whatever else is. So some Yataghan data. I don't know what I can do with that. And another key. Okay. Well, I mean, that's useful, but it doesn't give me any money. I want to do more interesting stuff, but I think I have to just focus on working for a little bit. Oh, there's a merchant freighter. Buy ship. Oh, I can buy a shipmine fragment for 60. Merchants required a couple of rare shipmine fragments, and they are selling them at a high price. Wait, that's just a fragment, though. How many fragments do I need to buy? Skill upgrade required. Oh, okay. No. 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 Oh, I need to have it to at least +1. Okay. How? You had a fabricator, or gain access to the Alt fabricator. Okay, so until I have access to the Alt fabricator, I'm not going to know how many shipmine parts I'm going to need. Help Feng chases leads. That's what I'm getting the data for him for. Extract the past. Feng wants to dig into the old Solheim networks. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Hang on. Yeah. Help her get it running. Doesn't pay me. Helping Neovend. Get to know Memphis. That's Mushroom Guy. I can't really do that. I need to survive, so... Okay. I mean, I do also at some point need to go into the low end, but that cost me 60. So maybe let's focus on getting 100 credits so I can top up my dose and then see where I am once that happens. Because yeah, I'm gonna be very quickly down to 3. I'm gonna be down to 3 dice by tomorrow. So okay, one more salvage cutter should get rid of that. Do I want to eat? I guess I could eat a rat. I guess I could drink. Rations? Do rations do anything? Actually, I don't think rations do anything. It's a bit overkill, but let's eat some mushrooms because that should level him up. And getting these complete, I think, is how I get more points. So... Sleeper! Emphasis calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok, a fire leaping up to meet the oil. I see you, cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. But one of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause, the spices rich in your nostrils, and think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Emphis. You look at Emphis, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps you'd enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. Tell him about your dreams. All the sleepers you tell Emphis had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those grey, skeletal after-images of systems and structures, of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares, they were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through air. You tell him that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps your reason is just some side effect or particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Emphis finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles. You are quite the storyteller. He eyes you, and you realize that he's trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Emphis passes the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks, a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the empty market. My time is done for today, and I don't want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients that stacked behind his store. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think, a couple of cycles ago. They said that across the gap in the Greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard of this? No. Neither have I, but I trust the one who told me. Emphis begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I am sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Alright. Good, booms Emphis. That was him booming. Good. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Emphis slides his wok away and straightens up. I will prepare a recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Emphis's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think? A trade that seems more than fair. Alright, so now I need to get mushrooms. And so there's two things. Bring Emphis Giro caps. Well, let's go and sleep again. So I need to go up into the upper section at some point. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that next, I think. Let's work on getting enough cash to give myself another dose. And then... yeah, go from there. So I should be able to do this. Bosh. The final pieces of the winter lights sit in neat piles waiting for the collection shuttle from Havenage. Dragos has managed to sell the remaining pieces to the shipyards. A fact that's hard to forget as he's been telling you about it for the past 2 cycles. And all that remains is for Havenage to come collect. You look around at the yard. Transformed from when you first arrived, the mostly repaired drones flit back and forth, no longer buzzing unevenly or lost in dark corners. And the scrap is sectioned, sorted, and the system that you and Dragos have put into place over the past cycles paying off. As you look, you notice the glow of pale light from the office by the entrance. That run-down cab of a building which houses all the records and spare equipment. Dragos must be inside, and you get to your feet and walk over to find out when your shipyard collection crew will be here. Sleeper, come in. You swing open the door and walk in. Dragos is sitting at the small metal desk. The shipyards told me they'd be here soon. Then they'll hand over the chits and we are set. He writes something with a stylus on his slate and then it shuts off. Of course, we should talk about a bonus. We should! I need my fix. He stands and turns to face you, his face placid. Look, I don't know when the next job is coming in, but this should tide you over for now. He opens his hand to reveal a stack of chits. What's going on here? I said it's a bonus. Take it. Dragos presses the chits into your hands. I've done well by you, and you've returned the favour. He straightens up and clears his throat, and you realise he has prepared what he is about to say. These chits are for you to take and do what you will with them. They're from me, and they're the last I'm going to give you. He pauses. There's no more work for a sleeper in this yard. He folds his arms. I'm sorry, but that's it. You stay in the container as long as you need, but the yard is done with you. He turns away to his terminal. What do you mean? Don't press me, sleeper. This is for your own good. The glassy apertures on Dragos' headset betray no emotion. You need to stay away, sleeper. He pauses, considering his words. Trouble is going to follow you here, trust me. What do you know? Dragos kicks at the floor, frustrated with himself. I'll not be saying any more, sleeper. Dragos suddenly grabs you by the shoulder and drags you out of the office into the yard. He turns you to face a stack of pieces from the Winterlight, dissected, cut down, totally unrecognizable as a ship. You came through that, sleeper. That should have been you. Chopped and stacked. His hand trembles on your shoulder. This is what happens here. We cut down broken machines and move them on. Well, I didn't cut you down, but I'm sure as hell moving you on. Moving you on before whatever killed that ship out there comes to kill me. Kill you? Kill both of us, he shakes his head. These ships, they didn't get commissioned, they didn't break down in dry dock. You think they'd look like that if they did? Someone ended them. That means someone tried to end you, sleeper, and I'm done waiting for them to turn up. We've had our fun, now it's time. He gives you a little shove. Go on. It's like a dog that he's letting out into the woods. He turns his back to the office. That's it, he shouts, and goes inside. The silence hangs in the air and you leave, with your pockets filled with clinking chits and a strangely hollow feeling in your chest. Well, I got 66 chits. Oh, but I failed the drive? Oh man, that means I didn't get a bonus point. Oh, lame. So I now can't go to the shipyard anymore. Boo! And I'm a day away from whoever's hunting me from catching me. So that's great. What can I do with these ones? That needs data. That needs a 4. I keep forgetting that needs a 4. I think this needs a 2, doesn't it? Yeah, I need a 4 and a 2 for the other Havenage ones. It's always so weird when it comes out of a... That needs a 2. I think I may have used up all my 1s. Oh no, I can do the Yatagan agent. Okay, some more Yatagan data. but that's it. Okay, I guess I can use my remaining one to get to sunbathe, so that's safe. But I'm gonna go to the... I'm gonna go to the docks and get my stabilizer. Although I wonder, maybe waiting until I'm down to 2 dice would be better financially. Because I can still get quite a few things done with 3 dice in a day. And it does go down... 100 tops me off. Like, a stabilizer tops me up completely. Maybe I'll wait until I'm down to 2 dice. Then. Before I get some more stabilizer. Although if the bounty hunter's arriving tomorrow, maybe having 5 dice would be better to face them off. Because I might need... Do I want to be stingy? That's the question. Because I have lost one of my sources of money, which is another problem. Let's get some energy either way. Bosh. That's very helpful. That a bonus thing. Dang it. All right, it's not gonna kill me. Just for the bounty hunter showing up. I mean, if it does. I guess I'll eat those words. Hold it there, sleeper. Comes a voice from behind you. Don't you run. Stay still. Good, good. A hand pats your coat down. You know your master's voice. Ethan spins you around. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he has terrible news. You got all the way out here and then stayed put. He laughs a cruel laugh. That a sleeper thing. You're my first. You barely hear him. You've noticed the handgun he has leveled at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out from a belt loop without taking his eyes off you. Making it to the eye, though. That's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. I pull most of my contracts out of asteroid caves or off of godforsaken moons. He splits the ring into 2 perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Who are you? Just a freelancer on a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. Make a break for it. You see a chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. Then the shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. Okay, he missed. You freeze and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine, trust me. I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles. Going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. Who hired you? Your daddy's at S&R. They want you home for dinner. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. Shame to come all the way out here just to head back to S&R right away. That tracker of yours makes this too quick. Was hoping you put up a bit more of a chase, you know? Run in battle through the bright market, maybe, or hold out in the low end. There's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. You walk on in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That S&R tracker will be the death of you. Hey, I have an idea, Ethan interrupts your thoughts. How about on the way back to the ship we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. I have a better idea. This better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and then try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. You pause dramatically. Although, muses Ethan, I got myself thinking, what's the rush here? Here we are in one of the most lawless joints in the surrogate system, and we are heading for the exit. He pauses and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea, starts Ethan. You and me, we make a little agreement. Here are the terms. He turns you to face him. You run or leave, or you try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. You plot or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But, he smiles, you come meet me at an establishment of my choice every few cycles and you pay my tab, I don't shoot you. He pauses. You don't pay my tab. He grabs his handgun. You get the idea. You're letting me go? Not at all. Let's call it open custody. You're free to mooch around the eye as long as you keep paying up. He stretches. You know, I really thought I was going to have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something in his belt and the ring releases from your wrists. I'm going to see if I can find my old stool at the compressor club. Come see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Let me just remind you that body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye. Oh no. Ethan turns the stride off down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you going to do? Well, that's a constant drain on my funds. I guess if I don't pay him, he will eventually show up and take me away. So I need to get these Solheim nodes pronto. So let's grab one of these once I've got a 4. And I need a 2 for the other one, annoyingly. Were there only 3s? I think the rest of them were all 2s, weren't they? I haven't had many 2s. I've been unlucky on the... Oh, and that requires data, which I don't have. Okay, but I can sell this to my boy... Feng? And he'll at least give me some cash. But I need that 2 to get that last one. Okay, You see Ethan in the distance shouting from the bar for more drinks. This bill isn't going to be small, is it? Alright, so I don't have to pay his tab yet. But I've got... 4 cycles to pay his tab. I was hoping for more time between each one. Okay, that's fine. I could head to the low end. I do still need to help Ankita, but this doesn't get me any money. But it might get me money if I help it get it all the way up to the top. And I don't have any other work, because the only other stuff I've got is the shipyard. Which I guess will give me work eventually, but at the moment doesn't. Sort of one big balancing act, isn't it? Okay. Let's sunbathe. Because that only gave me 1 that time. Dang. Alright, well I can eat some mushrooms tomorrow then. That'll give me the full 3. Some 2s. Excellent. But I gotta be careful. Okay, well this is fine. I can do 2 more before Hunter shows up. So if I grab this Solheim node... and then sell it to Feng... As you enter the bay, Feng is nowhere to be seen. He's there. The banks of servers and machines blink out of the dark in statico rhythms. Unseeing eyes of the station's digital ghosts. Shitheads! Feng's voice echoes from behind his stack, followed by the hammer of a fist on a metal casing. You snaky shitheads! Who's snaky? Sleeper! Feng's smiling head pops out from behind his stack. Just the emulated consciousness I have been eager to see. Come back here. You pick your way between the thrumming stacks, trying not to trip on the loose bundles of cables that blanket the dark floor. Feng is sat in front of a set of monitors, mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? Feng waves at a monitor to his side, glowing with pale lists of information. You lean in closer, looking for the links in the data. The tables seem to be filled with personal information, names, genders, dates, ID numbers, all the markers of institutional records. Shitheads? Feng laughs. Maybe not all of them. What kinds of shitheads? Solheim shitheads. Bingo. He taps at the terminal. I pulled these from the old data you brought in. All employees of the Eye's original owners, and he leans past you and scrolls the list down. This one. This is a snaky shithead. He stabs at the screen with a finger. The name reads Hardin Hurst. Friend of yours? Feng gives you a sideways look. Funny you should say that, Sleeper. He drags a stool up beside him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Hardin Hurst in Havenage. He waits for your action. In Havenage? That's it. He's right here on the station now. Feng leans back in his chair. Just think about it. Decades ago, Hardin worked on this station as a... Feng leans across to look at the monitor. Senior Strategic Operations Executive. Feng raises his eyebrows at you. Hardin was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth initiatives by making sure the extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept the profit. Good old Hardin shuttled thousands of Palladium Rush workers into an infrastructure which meant that their cut of the work they did went straight back into Solheim. So what? So what? He frowns. I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I'm a child of the collapse. Feng turns back to his screen, staring hard at the strings of the code flickering by. Before I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate into Solheim canteens, worked on Solheim ships, they breathed Solheim air and slept in Solheim beds. Feng's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fists on the terminal edge. And the work that paid for that existence? The cycles of hard extraction out in the belt? Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak, and my parents were just another in the long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for shot anything other than property. Disposable. This guy, stabbing at Hardin once again with his finger, strategized all that, did the sums, and then somehow, thousands and thousands of cycles later, is still going, still here, crawling in the walls like some shithead snake. He survived the revolution. Surely it can't be him. Feng relaxes a little. Who knows? He turns to you and smiles. So we are going to find out. Arden is now a big shot in the shipyards, just a few degrees back around the eye from here. Feng brings up a map of the lower eye. Havenage might be born out of Erlin's revolutionary zeal, but a flat hierarchy it is not. Hardin happens to float to the top. Feng zooms in on the far yards. Feng grimaces. The thing is, I don't have access to those systems. The shipyard crew is pretty paranoid and they don't like anyone from systems digging around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. Feng holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. That's where this little creation of mine comes in. I call it a ripper worm. He turns the... I should give him an Australian accent. He turns the drive between his fingers. It'll rip through any digital storage and spin out like a silken thread of filtered data. This one is set on the centre Hardin Hurst. He hands it over. Getting into the compound might be tricky. Feng puts a hand on your shoulder. But you, however, have a particular knack for remote access. Feng grins. If you can extract yourself a Havenish cipher from a Havenage agent, they sometimes carry them among their data caches. You can crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go near the shipyards. So what do you say? Up for it? What's in it for me? Rooting out a corrupt snake not enough? Find the information, I'll start work on that tracker of yours. Feng scratches his chin. Anything the worm gets, I'll send it back here to me. There's something wrong here, and I aim to get to the rotten core of it. You leave Feng digging through the data. Among the wires and machines of the old station... As you walk out, you try to imagine the Eye as it once was. A vast machine running smooth and strong, directed by people like Hardin. A vast Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems, looking for new life. The hope of a better future, engineered to line someone else's pockets. It's an idea you are intimately familiar with. You think of Hardin, still alive, still part of this place, and wonder if the past has ever truly passed. Alright, so I have a new objective from my boy Feng to go and find some Solheim dudes. And then he'll get rid of my tracker. If I get rid of my tracker, though, surely, I mean, this guy has seen me. He knows my face. He knows where I live. I mean, surely he can still track me, right? Alright, well I have enough money to get into the low end gate. So let's do that. Okay, not a huge amount of options so far. Maintenance maintained by the residents, the ramshackle blocks are always in need of repairs. Helping out is a good way to make friends. The clacker of... Well, that's no good to me, because it requires intuition. The clacker of filter cats can be heard as every concourse in the low end as the residents play rotating rounds of this game for cryo. Yeah, okay, so Tavla's not really a option for me. Can I go... The Free Spoke, Towering Transit Hub. A tangled network of service passages and makeshift tunnels cut through the spoke as if it were a hive. There are no maps here. Alright, so I can enter the spoke or I can scale the spoke. Blistered with precarious elevators and stairways, the spoke can be navigated from the outside, but the climb requires bravery. Why? Why? And then there's a gap in the ring station. And that requires 150. To reach the Greenway, you need to pay for pass. A practice invented by the Spacers moored here. They call it Founder's Ferry. Alright, so that's how I make more progress. What hacking can I do here? Although I'm 1 point away from another hunter encounter, so I don't know how far I can push. Yeah, I need to get these Havenage agents so I can do that thing for Feng. I need to build a ship mind, but I don't have access to the place where I can make the thing. I don't have the alt fabricator. I don't know how to gain access to the alt fabricator. Alright, I'm gonna risk another hunter, I think, because I've got 2 2s, which just are not gonna do me any favors anywhere else. Those familiar threads wrap around you, bind you, test you. Entity, submit. Hunter's strange head bobs in your vision. Your ally in the sealed dock cannot save you. In that globed head you see whirling strings of data, so many spinning there that they threaten to tear through the thin skin and whip out into the void around. What happened to this creature? The threads squeeze and you lose any sympathy you might have had. You must escape. Strike. You lash out once more, pushing Hunter back, severing threads that regrow as fast as they are broken. As you slip away, you realize you have to find a way to deal with Hunter once and for all. This is getting too dangerous. Okay, so that's the... Oh, I am now declining. That hurt. Okay, I'll go and buy my... I will... Let's grab one more Havenage. I'm okay for... I got 6 more hacking attempts, but I think that's basically its way of telling me you have to deal with him now. Let's use that. Cool. I got Gate H4 access now. Which... what does that give me? Oh, and that's the Ripworm, which I can slap in. I need another Ripworm. Okay. But maybe since I've done 1 Ripworm... Oh, I need to wait 3 cycles for it to clip through. Okay, that's that. That's running now. That's good. Let's go speak to the doctor. Let's get patched up, because I am in danger. Toshiro takes the chits and hands you a vial. When you ask for Sabine, he doesn't respond. As you quickly leave the surgery, eager to be away from Toshiro's glare, you notice something wrapped around the stabilizer vial, clutched tightly in your hand. You open your hand and a thin film marked with holes and sigils unrolls from around the vial. At one end it has a hard metal strip, a handle. You hold the cloudy film up to the light. It is perforated with an ornate pattern of holes. You can make out a word among the markings. Passkey. Is this an entry key for somewhere? Inspect the handle. The metal handle is worn and pitted, but you can see a set of numbers imprinted into it. 207F, and then crudely scratched into the handle at some later date, low end. For a moment you consider going back to the surgery to return the key, and then quickly think better of it. Did Sabine want you to have this, or is Toshiro passing on a message? Time to head to the low end to find out. Planned obsolescence. Bought yourself some extra time, one vial at a time. Yes, I noticed it hasn't worked, though. Do I have to do that back at my house or something? Yes. Okay, well I'll do that right before going to bed. Because I've still got a couple of other things to do. Unlock apartment. As you push the door open, the automatic lights flicker on inside the apartment. They reveal yellowing plastic panels, the curved shape of wall-mounted utility units, the detritus of a routine life arranged on every surface. You step inside, clicking the door shut behind. The amber light of the aging fixtures glaze everything with pale orange. The work surfaces hold a variety of objects, indistinct in the dull lighting. A pale blue light drifts from a doorway at the end of the room. Inspect the surfaces. Smudges through the thin layer of dust suggest a recent, rare, and hurried visit. They trace a path to the water dispenser, the auto wash, then to a cabinet still half open. On the shelf sits an empty pill case. To the doorway. You cross the cramped utility room with its auto wash dispensers, water closet, towards the doorway. Through the doorway is a dark, warm room lit only by the faint glow of a terminal screen. Inspect the room. A bunk is tucked into the wall, the blankets ruffled, a wall desk glitters with rows of vials and containers. A briefcase lab sits open, loaded with rows of reagents and compounds you do not recognize. In comparison, this room is clean, ordered, controlled. Approach the terminal. As you approach, there is a crackle from somewhere in the dark. Sleeper. Sabine's voice shakily echoes through the apartment. Welcome to my home. I'm sorry I can't be there. I've had to make alternate arrangements. You hear rattling noises, static. I was able to record this message, but I don't dare show my face. Something is happening within Yataghan. I no longer trust them. Their voice becomes distant, slipping behind the background noise. I have something to ask of you. I want you to get me out. Yataghan was supposed to hide me, to protect me. After everything happened, I was desperate, and then after that I was too tired to care. A noise like waves passing over the recording. But I'm done with them now. I want out. Screw the debt. But I need insurance. Something I can hold against them. I have my suspicions, but I can't be sure. I need information, and as you know, you need me. A pause, something clicking in the dark. This isn't a threat. You have to understand my position here. Another pause. I know sleepers. I have been here before. I can help you, but not with Yataghan's noose around my neck. Get me data, get me information, get me something I can use against Yataghan. Then I can get out and you can get what you need, please. Waves of static cut into Sabine's voice. Bring it here to my terminal. I'll get to it when I can. You look around the tiny room and try to imagine Sabine living here, working at the desk, sleeping in the bunk, blinking into the terminal in the dark. The recording cuts to static, filling the room with its white hiss, then silence. Access the terminal. You stand in front of the humming terminal and hit a few keys. Sabine has left an access port open, but the rest is encrypted, locked away behind passcodes. It seems Sabine might not trust you as much as they want you to think. What does Sabine need to hide from, and what debt do they owe to the Yataghan? You try to assemble the pieces, but too many are missing. The only thing you know is that without stabilizer, your body will die. You glance at the briefcase lab on the desk, its glassware glinting in the dark. You turn away and leave, the door clunking shut behind you. Back in the corridor, you notice the scrawled graffiti of a blade on the opposite wall. Yataghan. You feel yourself being drawn into something you don't quite understand. Alright, so I guess this is where the Yataghan data I've been picking up goes. I mean, I got loads. Oh, did I only have 2? I thought I had more than that. I guess I didn't. I guess I don't. Okay, that's fine. I can get another one of those. I need energy, but I only have 14 chits, and I'm conscious of the fact that I do eventually need to pay this tab, and I don't know how much it's going to be. So I'm going to buy a ration. Because it's a bit, I can't afford food anyway. There we go. Just get my energy up. Then let's take my stabilizer. Get myself back up to full marks. And then let's end the cycle. Alright. So that's good numbers. We've got a new day. I need some. I mean, I keep playing this for 8. I just keep playing this, but my voice is starting to give, so I think I might call it there for tonight. Yeah, I can. It's definitely. Yeah, it's a fun. It's definitely interesting. I'm like I could go and finish the ambergris off, and then we can continue that story. And then I could go and hack. I mean, I could go and hack another. Like, is it Yak? Is this one a Yatagan agent? It does this weird thing. There's another Yak. Can you hack another Yatagan agent and get that story going? Like, but I need to get some chits as well because I got 4 chits, and I need to. This is gonna. Yeah, I need to pay this off, otherwise Ethan's going to shoot me, which is bad. This is bad for me. But I don't have any way to earn any money. That's the problem. Oh, they'll pay a wage. I suppose I can do some work for the ship if I need to. I do need to do some stuff at the shipyard eventually, but it's like so long to get it up, and they don't pay me any money. Ugh. So this is dangerous, which means you'd think it would be better. Anyway, like I said, I could keep playing, but my voice is giving out, so I don't think I should read too much, otherwise I'm going to be hoarse. So we'll call it there. Like I said, I'm still not sure whether I like this game, but I still don't know whether how well it works as a stream game. It is fun. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll do another session in it. I'll see. I'll see how I feel. But we're definitely call it there. But if it's, I will if I don't stream it, I will definitely finish it because I'm invested. I want to find out. I want to see if I survive. Obviously, my survival is it's quite important to me generally in most games. So yeah, I'm invested. Yeah, I shall try and stream again tomorrow evening. I'm trying to stream every day this week because I got the week off work, and we were playing a different game. I've got a couple more games on my list I want to try and get through before Sunday. So I will decide what to play on the day. So yeah, if I see you tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching. If you did, I've been Dandy. You've been Dandy. We've all been Dandy. Good night.